Hi everyone, morning. I thought I'd record a practice for you that you can do at home in your own time, slightly shorter than one of my regular classes, but to give you an idea of what it's like practicing with me. So make yourself comfortable. It doesn't have to be cross-legged. You could, if you're at home, you could take a cushion, sit on a cushion just to elevate the sitting bones, and then sitting either cross-legged or even with your legs in a side saddle pose like this. And the theme for this morning's class is letting go. In the West, we tend to view letting go or surrendering as perhaps a sign of defeat. But in the yogic philosophy, it's seen as a good thing, something we can learn from, because we're moving away from the I, we're recognizing that broader forces exist, and we're kind of recognizing the power of the universe. And also this idea that when you surrender and you kind of relinquish control, you just don't know what's going to happen. So therefore you open yourself up to a world of endless possibilities. So that's the theme for this morning's class. I always like to work with a theme. So with that in mind, we're going to start the class on our backs this morning. So if you'd like to make your way down onto your back, finding yourself in a comfortable position, taking your awareness to your physical body, just perhaps checking in and see how does your body feel this morning. And now please take your awareness to your breath. Observing what happens when you inhale. And now if you can, slightly deepening the breath. So that you feel the abdomen rise with your inhale. And now can you take the 3-part breaths. So on your next inhale, noticing abdomen, ribs, and chest rise. Exhale, chest, ribs, abdomen fall. Repeating abdomen, ribs, chest rise. And exhale, chest, ribs, abdomen fall. Just staying here for just a couple more breaths. Taking a little pause before we start the class. Creating a little space, using our breath to create a little space between our everyday lives, this space that we're making on the mat today for our body and our mind. And now let's gently open the eyes, drawing your heels in towards your sitting bones. And now you're going to, actually no, let's extend the legs once more. Keep the right leg extended, but inhale, draw the left heel in towards the sitting bone. And exhale, allow the knee to roll out to the side and extend the leg once more. Inhale, heel to sitting bone. Exhale, knee rolls to the side. And repeat once more. So just a gentle hip opener. We're externally, rotating the hips here, and then we'll move to the other side. Inhale, exhale, letting the knee fall out to the side. Repeat twice more, please, bringing to mind this theme of letting go as you let your knee roll out to the side. Consciously exhaling here and letting go of anything that's no longer serving you. And now we'll draw the heels to the sitting bones, crossing the right leg or right ankle on top of the left thigh. And now just pay attention to your hips and your shoulders. We want those still to be in contact with the floor. Lifting up that left leg, reaching through with the arms, and you can either wrap your hands around the back of the left thigh, or if you prefer, if you have that flexibility, you can wrap your hands around the calf or shin even of the left leg. Lovely. So inhale, drawing the left thigh towards you, and exhale, allowing the right hip to move down and away from you. Inhale, drawing left towards you. Exhale, right hip and thigh move away. One more time. And then you might be feeling a stretch in the right hip and thigh. And then we'll release threading the needle on that side, and we'll take it on the other side. So crossing the left ankle on top of the right leg. Inhale, reaching behind the right thigh, drawing that thigh in towards you. And exhale, left hip and sitting bone, move it down and away. Repeating twice more. Taking a little note of your shoulders. You want those quite relaxed so they're staying in contact with the earth. And just keeping the foot flexed, the left foot flexed, so the toes point back towards the knee to protect the knee. One more, inhale and exhale, really drawing that right thigh in towards you. Feeling that stretch in the left hip and thigh, so we're opening into the hips here, a nice stretch for the hips. We'll exhale to release, rolling onto your side, any side that feels good. Taking a breath there. And inhale, coming back up to seated. You can find any comfortable pose here, which might be cross-legged or perhaps kneeling. And we'll just warm up the shoulders a little bit now. So inhale, palms face up. And exhale, palms face down, repeating. Exhale, letting go. Inhale to rise, looking up, and exhale down. And now inhaling, drawing the left arm back, turning to look at that left hand, and exhale, almost imagine you're throwing a ball. Inhale to draw back, so we're working the neck here, as well as the shoulder blades, observing your shoulder blades moving towards each other behind you, and gliding forward as you throw your imaginary ball forward. And then we'll repeat that on the other side. So inhaling, holding that ball in the right hand, and exhaling through. And once again, using this movement as a little metaphor for throwing away, letting go of control, or perhaps saying goodbye to a situation that no longer serves you. So we've done a little bit of a warm up for the shoulders and the hips. I think we'll now inhale, come into high kneeling, and exhale, letting go. Inhale, high kneeling, exhale to release. And inhale, high kneeling, coming down into child's pose. So big toes touching behind you, knees slightly wider to make a little space for your abdomen. And as you exhale, laying the abdomen down, allowing your forehead to connect with either the floor. If it doesn't quite reach the floor, you can stack your hands here. But what a nice thing to do here. If you wear glasses, you might want to take them off. It's just gently rolling the forehead from side to side. This stimulates your vagus nerve, which is the longest nerve in the body, connecting the brain with all major organs. And this sends a relaxing message back to the brain. So when you've completed a few of those side to sides, let's come back up to kneeling. And now we're going to come down to all fours. And this is cat-cow, but let's have the fingertips spread quite wide here, ready to prepare us for downward facing dog. Really pay attention to your knuckles. We want those grounding down, particularly the index finger. And feet are about hip width apart. So inhale, looking forward, exhale to tuck in your chin and round the spine. Inhale. Exhale, drawing up through your pelvic floor and drawing your navel towards the spine. And keeping a little bit of this awareness at the navel as you come forward. Breathing in deeply and smoothly. And repeating once more, working with the rhythm of your own breath. Just clothing. So working with the rhythm of your own breath here. So you're working with this principle of the breath leading the movement. And then we'll prepare for downward facing dog. So as I mentioned, fingers splayed wide, really pressing down through the knuckles, tucking in the toes at the back. Next exhale, lifting the hips up and back. You might want to keep the knees bent as it's our first dog, gently pedaling each leg to stretch out the back of the leg, so the muscles, the hamstrings and the calves. Okay, and from downward facing dog, we're going to inhale, coming forward to plank pose, drawing the navel towards the spine, really pushing the ground away. So push your fingertips into the floor and actively push the ground away. Exhale, coming up back into downward facing dog. And inhale, coming down to plank. Once more, drawing navel to spine, pushing the other way. Exhale, coming down or up even into downward facing dog. If you're feeling that you need a rest here, remembering you can take a child's pose at any time. So then either resting in the child's pose or coming into the dog. And then if everybody meets in the child's pose, and then we'll come back up into downward facing dog. So grounding down through the fingers once more, exhaling, lifting the hips up and back into the dog. Just a couple of cues here as we stay in dog for a few breaths, grounding down through the index finger, the knuckle, observing how this changes, allows you to perhaps lift the hips a little bit higher. And next exhale, allowing your head to release so the crown of the head moves towards the floor. And next exhale,
Really actively pushing through the hands, the chest moves towards the thighs. Lovely. Staying in dog for one more breath and having this feeling of letting go, allowing any old stale energies to almost cascade out through the head and make their way in towards the earth. And now we're going to inhale and step the left foot forward between the hands, lifting up into a high lunge. So just you're having both feet facing towards the short edge of the mat here, really grounding down through this front left foot. The back leg is strong, navel draws to spine, and we'll inhale to gaze forward, finding your gazing point, which can help with stability. Holding this lunge pose for a few breaths. And if you prefer here, you can lower this back knee to the ground. Toes. So two options there, either back knee lowered or lifted. And from here, we're going to plant the palms back so they frame the front foot. And exhale, step that foot back into downward facing dog. Holding dog for a few more breaths and now stepping the right foot forward. Once again, either lowering or lifting the back knee. And finding your stability in the lunge. So grounding down through the hands, drawing the navel to the spine, having your fixed gazing point before you then bring in the arms. Holding your high lunge for a few breaths. Remembering also the knee is above the ankle. Lovely. Lowering the hands down, stepping that front foot back into your plank. And then from here, we're going to walk the hands back and we're going to come into a squat. And at this point, you might like to take a yoga block if you have it, or even a cushion if you're at home. And you can either take your squat with the block under the ankles, or you could even take a couple of blocks or a couple of cushions and build up your support beneath your bottom there. So coming into a squat then, I'm using my thighs, elbows just inside my thighs. And on each exhale, I'm gently moving my elbows towards the thighs to move them away from the midline, lifting up through the chest. Taking a few breaths here. And from here, come up into standing. So you'll now be at the back of your mat, standing. From here, we're going to step forward to the front of our mats. So you can either just step forward with your eyes open, or if you want to take a little challenge today, sometimes I like to throw in some little challenges. You can close your eyes. You can do this with the eyes closed in a kind of gesture of trusting the universe, as in keeping with our theme of trusting the universe today. So closing the eyes and stepping forward to the front of the mat, which is quite a slightly disorientating experience. And just a good way of feeling into the body, noticing how a pose feels, rather than always being in our head. Okay, so from here, we're going to take some sun salutes. So you're beginning by standing at the front of your mat. Feet are about hip width apart and the feet are firmly grounding down. Observe the inner thighs and imagine your inner thighs just spinning out to the side. As we now inhale and exhale to fold forward from the hips, perhaps a little micro bend in the knees. Inhale, halfway lift, you're still looking down towards the floor. And exhale to fold forward once more, plant the palms and step back into a plank. Or if you prefer, you can lower the knees here. So different options. And then from here, if the knees aren't already lowered, we're going to lower the knees and keeping your elbows tucked into the side of the body here. We're going to bend the elbows and lower the chest and chin, and then glide the legs back and the elbows come forward into our Sphinx pose. Perhaps rolling the shoulders gently back so that the chest is opening. Gazing forward. Kneecaps are lifted here so that the legs are active. Taking a couple of breaths in Sphinx before exhaling to lower the head, moving the hands back between the shoulders to come back up into your downward facing dog. Once more. Drawing the inner creases of the elbows together as we now step forward to the front of the mat. And second foot, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold abdomen towards the thighs. And inhale to rise. Exhale, hands meet in prayer position. So we'll take a second round here. Taking a moment to find your breath and observe how you're feeling after our practice so far, both how you're feeling in your body and your mind. Inhale, rise. Exhale, folding forward, perhaps that little micro bend in the knees to protect your lower back. Inhale, reaching halfway. Exhale, fold. You're planting your palms and stepping back into your plank. Drawing the navel towards the spine, actively pressing your palms and fingertips into the earth. And from here then lowering knees, chest and chin. Gliding elbows forward once more into Sphinx. Caps lifted. And exhale now, releasing the head and neck and coming back into the downward facing dog. And this time we're going to step the right foot forward between the hands. And now the back leg comes forward as you inhale to lift halfway. Exhale, fold. And inhale to rise. And the hands meet in prayer. And now stepping the left foot back, so the right foot is at the front of the mat, coming into warrior two pose. So the right foot faces towards the short edge of the mat, the left leg is rotating in towards the midline, so the left toes are pointing towards the front left corner of the mat. Collarbones face towards the long edge. So just taking a moment to observe the different angles here, the legs, front legs at one angle and then put the collarbones towards the long edge. Drawing the navel towards the spine, having a sense of strong legs, so strong through the back leg, front knee over front ankle. Inhale to raise the arms and gazing over the right fingertips. Inhale, coming into reverse warrior. The palm flips up and lifts up towards the ceiling. And exhale, taking the right elbow to the right thigh. And that left arm could be lifting straight up here or tucked in over the ear. Making sure you're not putting too much weight through that elbow, so that you're using the strength of your legs and your core muscles. And then we'll lift up to a wide leg pose. Turn your feet so they're now parallel. And we're going to take a forward fold. So inhaling, have a sense of lengthening through the front body. And exhale, folding forward. Hands might rest on the legs or on the floor. Inhale, rise, opening the chest wide, just gently looking up to open the base of the throat. And exhale, letting go as you fold forward. And lifting up once more. Having a sense of greeting the world, perhaps, as you open the arms wide, observing how you feel in this open gesture, being open to these new possibilities of going with the flow, surrendering control, and seeing what the world brings for you. As we exhale, to fold forward, let go. Keeping those legs working actively. Pushing down to the outside edges of the feet. Taking a couple of breaths here. And then we'll come up quite slowly, so to about halfway. And then the legs can draw up, the hands can draw up the legs as we come back to standing. Let's briefly heel toe the feet together. Inhale and exhale, move side to side. As we now take warrior two on the other side, so left toes pointing towards the short edge, right leg pointing in, collarbones towards the long edge. And exhale to bend that front knee, and just being quite mindful of that knee. We'd like it above the ankle, not forward of the ankle. Lovely. And after you've stayed here for a few breaths, we'll flip that front palm so it faces towards the sky. Back hand rests on the back thigh. As we inhale into our reverse warrior, you might choose to look forward or up to the top hand. After a couple of breaths here, you're now cartwheeling that left elbow towards the left thigh. Right arm reaches up. Or tucks in over the ear. Reaching forward to create this energetic line from the fingertips to the heel. Relaxing your face and jaw. And then we're inhale to come back up. And more gently heel toe the feet together. And then we'll make our way back down to the earth. So put your hands on your legs. They can gently roll down the legs, coming back to a seated position. And once again, you might want to take a block or a cushion to sit on. So that's very much up to you. So we'll just take a simple seated twist here. I'm going to come off the block actually, because I find it slightly more comfortable off the block. So if you extend your left leg out in front of you and cross the right leg over the top, knee bent, and be mindful of this right foot. We want this really pressing down into the earth so that the right thigh is hugging in.
towards the abdomen, flexing the left toes, so they're pointing towards you. We're going to inhale to lift up through the spine, finding that little bit of space, and exhaling, twisting towards the bent leg, so twisting to the right. Using each inhale to lift through the spine, and each exhale to gently twist a little further. And then inhaling back to center. We can take an open twist to the other side. So gently extending the arms, reaching to the left and keeping that right knee still hugging in. Coming back to center, swapping over so the right leg is now on the bottom, crossing the left leg on top, hugging the left thigh in towards the midline. Inhaling to find length through the spine. And just take note, your head is roughly over the hip, so we're not leaning too far forward or far back. And exhale, let's gently twist to the left. Now coming back to center, and we're going to take Shavasana or resting pose. So do put on any layers and try not to skip this pose because it's very important to absorb the energies and the effect of our practice. So if you'd like to make your way down to the floor and get yourself comfortable, or remain seated. Perhaps putting on any jumpers, socks. And now taking a moment to observe how is your physical body feeling after this short practice. How is your mind? And now taking your awareness to your breath. And staying here in Shavasana for a few moments. Reach over towards the video here. When you've had enough rest, ideally several minutes, gently beginning to move the fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. From your knees into your chest. Just having a gentle rock from side to side, just giving the lower back a little massage. And then rolling onto your right side. Taking a breath on your side. And slowly coming back up to seated. Short quote to end on. Through surrender, the ego is erased and grace pours down on you like rain. And that's from BKS Iyengar. So I hope you enjoyed this class. Theme of letting go.